Yes, another massive name on open goal. We've only got the ex-Celtic manager, Ronny Deila. How you doing, Ronny?
I'm good, and you?
I must say, I'm good, mate, but I must say your quiff is tremendous.
The virus has make it long now, too long. But I try to make it right. I try to make it right. Best out of it.
It's looking great, mate. Right, how's life in New York, Ronny? Is it good? You're living the dream?
Uh, of course, it's a very special situation right now, but the city is fantastic, and it's always been a dream to experience US, and I've been all over now already. So I'm looking forward to the future. So hopefully now we can get started in a couple of months and get played again, and then
And,
go come around in the city as well.
yeah. I need to ask you, do you ever get Gary Mackay-Stevens and Donald Trump mixed up?
I have to be fair with Gary there. That's
That's harsh on Donald Trump.
kilos between them. Some kilos in some years.
Have you had much? Has it been hard keeping him out the Hudson River as well?
Yeah, that's been a bit hard. That's been hard.
And I seen as well, Ronnie. I done a wee bit of research today. Efren Juarez is your assistant manager.
Yes.
How did that come about?
That's a long story, but to make it short, that I was in Cancun last December last year, not 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, and then he comes over with me to the shopping center and asks if I was the ex Celtic manager. And I said yes. So then we start talking, and then we had a good company together for a couple of weeks. We together with the families and everything, and then he joined the Vålerenga with me last year and was player. And then when I went to New York, he was finished with the contract in Vålerenga because it's only 1 year. Then I needed a guy that is good at speaking Spanish and also know players that is South American, Latin, and know MLS. And I knew also, because I know him as a player and a person, that he's gonna be a good assistant as well. So now he's here in New York with me.
I was a player at Celtic, a young player when he signed for Celtic. Oh, I was only there for 2 weeks with him. Has he still got the terrible haircut?
He's getting better. I teach him something already.
Good man. Good man.
I'm looking in the army now, so that's good. Much better.
Right, Ronnie, I'm coaching now. I'm a coach at Peterhead in Scotland. So if you're needing a first team coach, young man, get me over. Imagine me and you on the Manhattan Strip.
There's be other things than coaching then.
Brilliant. Right, we'll just talk about your career, Ronnie. What was your career like as a centre back? What were you? Were you a big head the ball, or were you play out from the back? What kind of centre back were you?
I was both, but
What a player then! What a player!
But I was very really good to play from behind. That was my strength. You know, all to get overload and carry the ball forward. I was quite good in the air, but that was the speed was not good enough. That was the biggest lack of quality I had. And of course, it's something also where you grow up. That was the culture I was in. Was good, but was not like the top culture. And then you get a part of the team. So I had a good career with. I was 13 years in my club that I come from. So I was great. I played 330 games. So then I thought I'm gonna play the rest of my career, but I get angry at the club because they didn't value the player has been there for a long time. Then I went to Vikings Stavanger. So I played 1 year there with Roy Hodgson as a coach.
Oh, wee Roy, what a guy!
Yeah. So that was a fantastic year. We played good as well, and we got to the group stages in Europe that year. So then my body was starting. Then I was 30 years old. I was starting to get a little bit of trouble, and I hate the style of Roy, how he played. You know.
Why? Why did you hate it?
Come on, it was no play from behind. You know, it was only defending and up to the strikers. So I was like, I want to go back to the way I like to play, a little bit more Barcelona, a little bit more like that way. And then I get the offer to be assistant manager and playing in Stromsgodset. So I went there in 2000. I was only 1 year in Stavanger then, and I went there in 2006. And then there was one division down from the top, and we go up. And then I played 1 year as in the top division, keep them up. And after that, I took over as a manager.
Brilliant. I also like to play through the back, Ronnie, but that's a story for another night. See, when you were a player then, so what was the moment that you thought, this is it, I want to be a manager? Because you balanced both, didn't you? You played and coached at the same time.
I think, I had a big interest in it very early. Like when I was 16, 17, 18 years old and I went to school, I was having teaching, having like a, what do you call it? One of the subject in the school was coaching.
Right.
So I started already then, and then when I was 21 years old, I started coaching other teams. So I had junior teams, as under 19 teams, 6 years when I was playing in the top division in Norway at the same time. And I went teacher school also, because my mother was so angry at me, said, you can never leave off the football. You need to have some education in the bottom. So
how wrong was she, Ronnie? How wrong was she, young man?
I told you many times, I can tell you.
Brilliant.
So it started already then. So when I was playing, I always had jobs beside, like training, coaching teams, or I worked also in the association in Norway for 2 years, working with developing coaches and leaders. So I had like that on the way when I was still playing.
So I'm doing that now, Ronnie. I'm playing and coaching at the same time. I'm a player and a coach. How did you find that with shouting at players who you were playing alongside? Did that come quite easy for you, or was it tough at first?
I was assistant coach. I don't think it's a good thing, because when you get older, you need to take care of yourself in a better way. All the time, you need more and more time to get ready for training and match. And it's something about do what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. That's very, very hard when you, it's hard to put them out when you do something not right yourself. So that was a tough thing, I think. So when I get the manager role, I was thinking at once I'm going to quit, because I couldn't do that managing and playing. That will be disaster.
Yeah, you're right, because I'm having an absolute nightmare at it, mate. Honestly, terrible. But Stromsgodset was your first permanent managerial role in Norway. What kind of level would that be in Scotland?
It was like I took over, what can I say? Motherwell.
Right, okay. So mid-table sort of team.
So like they were, but they could be, as a Stromsgodset in its history has been number 3. They won 42 years. They had been for 42 years. They won in 1970, I think. And then, so it's a little bit up and down. They were down in second division. So maybe the Motherwell was a little bit bigger club than the Stromsgodset was at that time, I think.
And what did you feel like you had to change straight away, Ronnie, when you went in there? What was it? Was it professionalism that needed changing? Was it tactics? What did you see when you first went in?
First of all, it was a long ride. It was 9 years. So it's like I come in and I had 80% of my team was around 30 or over. So it was so old. And then the financial crisis comes. So the first year I had a very old team. And the second year when I go in, we had to go down 2 million pounds in budget.
Budget, right? Wow.
And then, so I had to kick out all the older players, and we brought in young players, 17, 18, 19 years old. So in 2009, and the second year I was coach, we were almost relegating into the summer, in the middle of the season. And then a lot of the fans and everything wanted to have me sacked, because and I was also very big mouthed. I go out to say I'd rather relegate and play shit football, because they want me.
Ronnie, I love that. Love that.
But then we started winning. We rented our older player, Vidar Iset, from Celtic.
Used to play by an iPad, John. That's him, yeah.
We rented him for a half-year season. He was there to keep the youngster in control, and did very well. And then after that year, we're just getting better and better and better. And we sold a lot of players on the way, but we won the cup in 2010. And then 11, we were leading in the summer with 6 points or something, but we ended up at number 8. In 2012, we were number 2, and in 2013 we won the league. So that was a fantastic journey with Stromsgodset.
See, when you first went into the job, Ronny, was it your thoughts to win the league eventually? Like, do you set ambitions for yourself, or was it just kind of, I'll go and do my thing and see where we get to?
I think it was just, I just love to play beautiful football, and I love to develop players. And if you have consistency in what you do there, and the culture, you make a good culture around it, everything is possible. But what we did with Stromsgodset is unbelievable, because it's so hard. I don't see. We didn't use money at all. We sold player for 6-7 million pounds. And then it's not Martin Ødegaard into it, because he gets sold a little bit 1.5 year after when I was there, 1 year after. So at the same time, we were getting better and better. Stefan Johansen was the key. He wanted to go to Rosenborg in 2013. And then I said, no, you have to stay, you have to go abroad. And he said, no, I have to go now. But I persuaded him to stay 1 more year, say win the league, then you can go. And he stayed, and he was very fantastic that season. And then he went to Celtic afterwards. So it's like we kept the consistency. And we had some really, really good young players. We had 4 or 5 players into the national team of Norway at that time.
Brilliant. Right, mate, you're champions. 2 questions. 1, what size were the underpants? Extra large?
That's a good, stupid question.
Okay, number 2, how were the celebrations, mate? First title in 43 years. Was it a big gathering? Was it the whole city there? Was it?
That was crazy. Unbelievable. You should go to YouTube to see it. It's like the city was totally full, 10,000-15,000 people into the city center. And on the stadium as well, it was like, when you haven't won for 42 years, it was like unbelievable. And then I remember, you don't get drunk that day, it's too much people, it's too much stress, you're so tired. But we had a deal with the staff, because we were saying sometimes my assistant coach, sometimes he was like, Ronny, today I'm not coming into training, and he'll go to the pub. And we had one pub we called Palmen, and that was like a lot of alcoholics was going there. But we said, if we win the league, we're going to meet there Monday morning at 10 o'clock with a trophy. So the Sunday night when we won, I was just thinking about the Monday morning. I wake up 9:30, and then the whole staff was sitting and coming into that pub 10 o'clock in the morning. You should see the people coming in there. They were a little bit shaky when they come in, and they say like, "What is this?" The coffee, put it on the table, and say, "Come on, we're gonna drink together."
Brilliant.
That's unbelievable day. Unbelievable day.
So you just sat in that pub the full day?
All day.
What a man. Love that, mate. Love that. Right, Ronny, so you win the league. Do you know straight away when you've won the league that you're looking for a new challenge? Like, had you taken that team as far as you could?
I'm always like, I have to, if I don't feel I can't progress, or myself or the team, I'm thinking that I have to do something new. And I get the offer for Malmö.
Oh, what a team, Malmö. Good.
After that, and I said no to that, because I didn't feel right when I was down there. I was like, I didn't feel the connection. So it was very strange actually that I did that, but I did it. And then I was staying half a year, and we did really good. Also, then we were number 2 in the league when I went to Celtic. So then it was I get the offer of Celtic around 1st of June in 2014.
Okay.
So, but I felt like when you feel everything is going on autopilot, like everything, it was not challenging anymore. I wanted something new, and when Celtic was coming up, there was no thought in my mind saying no to that.
Yeah, because you visited a lot of teams to take in their coach, and I think you went to Man City. Is that where your relationship with the City group started?
Yeah, we had a lot of players from City. Not a lot, but some of the young players, and also Africans that go into their academy down in Ghana. So we had starting there in 2010. I started to have a relationship with them, and we go over and we get a lot of inspiration and knowledge through Manchester City, and I get a lot of good friends there as well. So that was it's a fantastic relationship.
Was it through them that Celtic's interest came in for you?
I think so. Yes, it is. It was that. You know, it's Peter Lowell had, of course, a lot of contacts around the world, but he knew a lot of people there as well. So I think Peter get that interest through Manchester City.
But you were at a Celtic game the year before, weren't you? Was it Celtic Barcelona you were at?
I was crazy. So
what game was it? What was the score?
It was 1-0 to Barcelona. Messi scored, I think.
Right.
But the atmosphere. I was sitting there and I think it was unbelievable. So who could imagine that was going half a year and I was sitting as a manager there?
Amazing. Did you go to 1UP after it?
Yes, I was out in I know that place. I've been there afterwards as well. This big in the city center. I don't remember what it's called. It was like I was out. I can tell you I was out.
Oh, your Glasgow nightlife, Ronny, tremendous, eh?
It's nothing better.
Yes, love it. So when was the first contact from Celtic then?
Who?
When was the first contact from Celtic?
Around the 1st of May, I think.
And what, just a phone call?
Yes, there was a guy in Manchester City that called me and asked if I wanted to meet Peter. And then
it was as an assistant to start with, Ronny, wasn't it?
It's a fantastic story. I don't think we have time for that now. This was, it was in the beginning. It was just small talks, and then Celtic wanted me to come to London to meet the owner, and then I did that, and then I go back in, but I was in Marbella at that time, just on vacation, and I go back again, and then I get the offer to join Celtic as an assistant in the beginning, yeah, because you know it's to know Celtic, to know the Scottish football and start in that way, and then maybe go on if that goes good. But that didn't happen.
Because some of the names that were linked for you to be assistant of, like Roy Keane, Henrik Larsson, what was your thoughts when you were thinking I could be working with these type of guys next year?
My thought was that that was interesting, you know, just the experience. I hadn't worked in Britain or Scotland at all before, so I've been there just like a tourist. So I was into that thought and do that.
And how much did the nightlife have to do with that decision that you were happy to come and be an assistant? So when did Celtic let you know that you were going to be the man for the job then?
What they say?
When did Celtic let you know that you were going to be the main man? You're the man for the job, Ronny.
Then this other coach said no, and then they call again, and then I get offered the job, and then I was back in Norway again. It was around middle of June, 10th of June or something, and we had a cup game up in Tromsø, and we played so shit and we lost, and it was totally. It was out in the newspaper, and it was just unbelievable circus all over. So we had to lose that game. We had no chance with the focus in the team, and my focus and everything was gone. So then the process started.
Was there any doubts in your mind, Ronny, that you weren't ready for the job, or because what were you, 38?
Yes, I was 38, 39.
Because at 39, I don't think I could even manage Asda, and you were going to be the Celtic manager. Like, no doubts you could do it, no?
Not one single one. I was,
wow.
But I had an unbelievable confidence when I come in there. You know, I had been so successful in Norway. I thought I could walk on water when I was going there. So, but it was And also you never turn down an offer like that. I don't think you can prepare yourself to get a job like that. I think you have to do it, and then you have to learn on the way.
See, when you get offered the Celtic job, Ronnie, do you celebrate? Like, do you go out and celebrate? Do you go to that same pub that you won the league?
I think I met some friends, but I was more calm then because then it's nothing to it's something to celebrate, but then there's a lot of work to do. So it's more like unbelievable proud, but at the same time so hard job. So you have to start to make you mentally and physically ready for that.
Because your club wasn't for letting you go, though, were they? How hard was that at the same time? So you got the elation and then they're not letting you go?
It was a very, very tough negotiation there. It was like, it was not very nice. It was not. But at the same time, everybody understand why I wanted to go to Celtic. But they wanted a lot of money. But you don't get money for coaches. That's for the players. So they had to come down on a reasonable level. I think Celtic and Peter was very, very good in that way. They get good paid Stromsgodset for letting me go.
Yeah. Is it true that you ended up jumping on a private jet to Glasgow anyway?
Yes. Peter is he knows how to negotiate. So he was like, they were calling me all the time. Peter would say, "Come on, we have to get some progress," and then nobody in the club was answering. In the Stromsgodset, I was so mad. Like you didn't hear anything. So I said, "You have to come to Norway. You have to come to Norway to do this." And no, you know what's going to happen, Ronny. You know what's going to happen. It's like they're going to a lot of money, and then I just have to go back again. I would say, but you have to, because it's about respect, and that you have to really show that you want me. And he said, "Okay, I do it. And if you promise that you come with that plane, whatever happens." So I said, "Yes, I go. So no problem." So he went to Gardermoen, meet Stromsgodset, and they won 5 minutes, and then they were disagree, of course, because they wanted unbelievable much money, and Peter wouldn't pay that. So he called me. "You have to come up here." And then I went up to Gardermoen and go into the meeting. I said, "What the fuck is going on?" Calm down. This is a dream for me. We have to do this. But of course, I understand Stromsgodset as well. It was a big shock for them. We're going out to the Champions League. We're going to go to the Champions League qualification, everything, and they lose a coach that's been there for 9 years. That was tough for them. So, but nothing gets arranged. So Stromsgodset went out to Drammen, and then I went. They didn't know, but I went on the plane to Glasgow.
How was the private plane? Was it nice?
Then you understand that you're on something special, So like a farmer boy from Porsgrunn, small town in Norway, it's not normal things to drive in a private plane.
When Celtic wanted me to sign EasyJet, private jet,
I would also be very satisfied with that if that was the option. I think also to get that job.
See, when the deal was eventually agreed, Ronnie, talk us through the feelings of the day. Amazing.
I was so fantastic. It was so much emotions, when you're driving up the Celtic way. So many people there coming into the stadium. I've been one time, and there was a Barcelona game. Go to that stadium, and you come in, and I was emotional day and tough day as well. We have to stay then straight into a press conference with 150 people, and you have to speaking in English. That's it's actually very good sometimes to experience how to be a foreigner in another country, because you when you haven't done that before, you take things very for granted. Like you are angry at the people coming to Norway and you say they don't understand this and this and this, but to understand the language, understand the culture, it takes time. And and also to talk in front of so many people in English is it's an extra load that you're not thinking about when you're in Norway or you're Scottish and are manager in Scotland.
Did that first day hit you? How big the club was? Was it bigger than what you expected?
Yes, 100 times bigger than I thought. Like it was hitting me hard. It was, but same time, I think the press conference went really good. And when I was sitting on the plane home to Norway, I was like, "This I'm looking forward to. This is going to be good." I was really, really optimistic and positive.
Yeah, you looked tremendous that day. I remember it.
Thank you.
What about assistant manager? So you're coming over from a foreign country, as you say, you don't know much about Scottish football. How does the process work when you're appointing your assistant manager? Are people suggested to you? Do you speak to other people? How did you come up with John Collins?
Peter talked to me about that. He wanted me to meet John. So I'd sit down with John, and I got a really good feeling about it. And that was the right feeling as well. It was fantastic for me in the time I was in Celtic.
I think the reason Peter and John Collins were so close is that they do sit-up sessions together. Is that right?
John is, if I be like him when I'm 50, I'm going to be very happy.
Oh, he's looking well. Was there no problem with the fact that, did you know that Scott Brown and John Collins had a thing at Hibs together before you appointed John?
I knew it after a while, but I didn't know it so much in the beginning. But I was not thinking so much about that. It's always like that with coaches and players, when you stretch each other and how tense it is, and you want to achieve something, and you have personalities. Sometimes you step under each other's toes. That's how it is, and I think John is, and also Scott as well. When you get older, you get things a little bit distant. You understand both sides of things, but I didn't have any problem with that when we started working in Celtic.
And did you ever do a gym session with John Collins?
Yes, but he was running 5 kilometers every day, and he had some yoga, so that was not no problem to follow.
Wow!
I have to say that he did it every day. I did it in 2 weeks, and I stopped for 2 months, and I start again.
Quite right, mate. First interaction with the squad then, Ronny. What do you do when you get the job? Do you phone the captain straight away, or do you wait and speak to the players together?
No, the first I called was Virgil van Dijk, because there were some things that I had to talk with him about going on at that time. And then when I come home to Norway, I called the leaders in the group: Scott, Charlie, Lichtig, I think I called, Chris Commons, some of the players, 5-6 of the players I called.
How is that? Is that a nervous thing when you're doing that from home, calling the captain and the big players? Is that kind of nerve-wracking, or are you fine with stuff like that?
Of course, every relation you just start up with is like you want to make a good impression and you have to get along with people. I don't think when you have jobs like this, and also when you are a football player as well, you have to challenge yourself a lot all the time. You put up in situation that is tough, and but that was a tough situation as well. Tough. So you feel a bit nervous. But that is so many coaches not talking about that. Everybody is a little bit scared and a little bit nervous when they are going to do things. That's why they have that pressure, but they love it at the same time. So for me as well, I love to feel a little bit nervous. I feel like a little tense, because what I went from in Stromsgodset was, I lost my nervousness, because I feel that there was like autopilot. Now I have to do another chapter, new people. You have to do it all over again. So I was excited, but of course, it's a tough situation, press conferences, players. But I've done it for 9 years, so I knew how to do it.
Yeah. See the fact that you wanted to revise the culture at Celtic with the diet and the fitness. Did that kind of ruffle a few feathers early doors?
What?
Like the way you wanted to change the culture with the diet and the fitness, did that ruffle a few feathers early doors?
Yeah, I think of course every change is tough, but I think when I come in, is how to do something with the professionality. Was players were not in a good shape, in my opinion, then after my standards and how I'm thinking. So nutrition was an important thing for that, and I think was too much sugar and carbs all over the place. So they did that. The players was putting on too much weight, and if we're going to be a pressing team, we need to be sharp and quick. And I think the players did amazing in that way. We lost 60 kilos in 4 months as a team. Virgil van Dijk was one of them. He lost 7 kilos or something, 7 or 8 kilos. So okay, that was it's a different player when you do that. So for me,
can you send me that diet, please?
no problem. You look quite fit. Look
tremendous. But how quick did
stop with the beer? Then you come far away. And then you stop with the beer. Then you stop. Then you get 3-4 kilos at once.
Can't stop the beer. That's why I've got a nose like this. How quickly did you see, Ronny, that you weren't happy with the fitness and the diets? Was it when you first weighed the players, or when you first seen them in their first session? How quickly did you realise that they weren't at the standards that you wanted?
I just saw that at once. Say that when people take off the shirt, you see that.
Right.
See it when they run. So, but that was new when I come in with this. It was very new. I don't think it's new for them now. I think they understand that that's important. All over the world, they're doing the same. So, but at that time, it was not a big focus. And when you change culture, change things, then it's always people get frightened to what's happening now. Can I perform when I'm doing like this? So you have to work with them and talk with them all the time. And I think a lot of the players had a lot of improvement in that time.
Would that be, see when you say players have got queries, would that be as a group, or would it be certain individuals coming to you querying it?
It was both. But I talked with them individually. Some people, some of the players were no problem because they were fit and things like that. But some others can improve. But the players who's fit has maybe something else they have to improve in. So it's like you always have to have that mind that you want to improve the players. And if the players don't want to improve, then you have to be really, really good to stay in the team. And that's what's happened also the first year. They had players there that there was a transition there from the team that was successful the year before and many years before to the team that we had from Christmas and out. That was a young, intensive, hard-working team. That was really, really hard to beat. And the players who adapted to that style of playing and the way we train, they were playing a lot from the Christmas and out where we almost didn't lose games at that time.
Yeah. Who stood out for you straight away, Ronny? Who was the one that, or the two or three that the first couple of weeks you thought, wow, I really like him?
As a lot of players I like. Craig Gordon, I really like. Really professional, fantastic goalkeeper. Virgil van Dijk, of course.
Wow.
Jason Denayer, fantastic player. I think Lustig was, he had troubles with injuries at that time, so we had to work a lot to get him to can stand 3 games a week. He did that, and when he played, he was very important. Scott Brown, of course, we never come out of him. He's that's the kind of leader, kind of person you want to have in front of the players when you go out on a game. It's a personality that don't accept losing. I think he was really good. I think so many talented players there, So you had Chris Commons was fantastic in things. You had Stokes, he was had good things. Lee Griffith was amazing the second year, and I had John Gudetti and him in the beginning. They was fighting together. Stefan Johansen had a fantastic year in 2014-15. Neil Beaton had a very good development. He didn't play in the beginning, and then he played everything after that. So I think it was a lot of talented players, but of course it was two like Van Dijk, Denayer, Scott Brown. They were really, really high standard.
Be honest, Ronny. Did you think straight away that Van Dijk could go straight to the top?
You can go to the newspaper to see that. I said very, very early that he's going to be can be the best defender in the world.
Wow.
So that's when you see he had everything. So what I think he missed in the beginning was like he was too lazy. He didn't train good, and he was sloppy, very sloppy. Ball over his head. It's going to be all right. And he was not really fit in that the summer when I come in. He needed to do some work, and he did a fantastic job with himself that year. And he was unbelievable. He scored 12 goals, I think, that season as a central defender. I
think 6 of the goals were against my team, Dundee, though, so he only scored 6 at you.
Easiest team.
I wanted to ask you as well, Ronny, you're the man who gave Callum McGregor his big break. For me, Celtic's best player over the past couple of years. Were you surprised that you hadn't been given a chance before?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody has to take steps, and he had to be rented out and in again. And I think Celtic did a fantastic job there. And then when he was ready, when I come in, he gets started to play a lot. So there was things with him also he had to develop. But he's turned out to be a fantastic player. He's technically really good, understand the game, runner, team player. So I'm very happy, and he should be proud of himself what he's become. So I think that's nice to see.
Where was it you seen something in him, Ronny? Was it a reserve game or was it training that you seen something that you liked?
I started in training. I think it was that. So and John Kennedy knew him a lot from before also, and John Collins also. So and we gave him a chance. It was a lot of winger in the beginning, and then he come more and more into the team.
Brilliant. Right, I wanted to ask this as well. For me, getting the Celtic job, the last thing you want for your first game is a Champions League qualifier. How tough is that?
And that was tough, but we had a Celtic team in the beginning, so that went okay. The other thing that was not good that was we didn't play at home. So that was we played in Edinburgh.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we met Legia Warszawa. They were a good team. They were good, but we weren't even close to beat them. So that was the level we were at that time. Maybe I did things that could be done better, but at the same time, it's a transition. Always when a new manager come in, and we were not ready for that stage in that time.
How disruptive is it compared to other pre-seasons that you've done, the Champions League qualifiers?
The pre-season went quick, of course. So I have, as I said, in Norway, we can play a whole season in Scotland before we start playing. So it's like it's 3-4 months with pre-season. So it had to be quick. So it's tough to get the people going. You have to play them in shape. But I think that was okay. But it was a lot of new things for the players, when I was coming, new staff, everything. So then also in that transition, it's hard to also performing at a high level.
I want a tip for you, Ronny, in case I ever get the chance to be a manager. You go into a new club, early on, things aren't working the way you maybe wanted with the results. Do you go and do you ball and shout, or do you not go down that road? Do you try and get the players on side by talking to them, or do you go and you need to stamp your authority?
There's something you have to feel on yourself, but shouting you can do 1 or 2 times a year. But if you do it every week, then they don't listen to you, and then they lose the respect of you. So for me, it's about attitude. Bad attitude, then you can shout. But if it's about that you do mistakes or that you don't have the quality yet to do it, they need to be taught. So the process around getting better then I think it's important to talk with them and learn from experiences. What do you learn when you do mistake or you do good things? And then I'm very into talking to people, ask them questions, because one thing is about if I understand what they're going to do, but they have to understand it because they're going to go out on the pitch. So if I show them a situation, I will ask them, how do you see the situation? And then they will talk. And then I say, could you do it differently? Do you see other opportunities? And then we'll say this and this and this. Yeah. Why you want to do that? Because this. Then you get to be conscious. And when you get a conscious player, you get a better player. And that's, in my way, I think you have to teach. But then it's about the mentality of the players. Are you wanting to be taught? Average players for me, they want to be left alone. But good players, they want to learn and be told the truth. And that's a big difference. What you see, people that is curious. Let's say Kieran Tierney. He had to be good. With that, his eyes was like this all the time. He wanted to learn everything we told him. He was like, yes, and he did something with it. These kind of players is they will succeed. So to have the ability to learn, that's the most important thing as a player, without having the hunger to be the best. That's more than talent almost.
See, early on, Ronny, was there any funny meetings? Maybe a one-to-one with Lee Griffiths trying to explain something to him. Was there any ones that were quite amusing?
The problem I have still is when we talk about we talk now, it's okay to talk, but when it's social, I don't understand a shit what is.
Who was the hardest? Lee Griffiths?
Scott Brown also. It was he was funny, and what did you say now? There's many there. Lee Griffith also. Charlie was talking a lot, as I remember. And it's so hard because you want to be a part of it. And if he had speaking in Norwegian, I would be that. But it's a different country, different language, so it's tougher to understand as when you cut words.
Which Scottish people do. Right, mate. Legia were thrown out, obviously playing an eligible player. Could you take satisfaction in that, or were you still angry with result and performance?
What do you say now?
When Legia were thrown out for playing an eligible player, could you take any satisfaction in it, or were you still a bit angry with the result and the performance?
When we go out from the Champions League?
Yeah.
I was very, very broken. That was so tough, this situation. I was sitting home one time ago, but we get another chance, so we didn't do it then, because then we played a really good game away. I don't remember who we played, but we played really good. It was 1-1 away, and we lost 1-0 at home. I was like, how that was possible. That was a really bad performance of me and the team. And so that was a hard hit. But then you sit home and you suffer. There's a lot of suffering when you're a manager. You suffer. But okay, what you do with that, you have to get your head up, chest up, and go to work again and try to improve things. And start winning. And that was tough at the beginning.
Does it make it harder when you're suffering, and when you're in a city like Glasgow, you can't leave the house in case you bump into, after a bad result, especially your own fans, but also Rangers fans? Is that tough?
Yes, that's of course it's different, but I felt it like that in Norway as well. You don't want to see people when you lose games. You just maybe it's not that outside, but you feel like you have been criminal. So when you wake up in the morning, it's like you lost. You feel like the cop is standing outside and waiting for you to put him into the cell.
Yeah.
And I think you need to have that feeling if you're going to be good.
Right, mate. The turning point. Van Dijk's last minute winner via Aberdeen, and it's the first time we've seen the birth of the old Ronny Roa. How good a day was that for you? The connection with the fans kind of started that day.
I didn't know at that time that it's going to be that huge that it went to be, but it was a fantastic moment because we had struggled in the league. We lost 1-0 against Hamilton. We had 15-1 in chances. They won 1-0. And then go up there was a tough game. And then when we scored and won, that was the start of a new era, like for that season. Then we were so strong after that. And it was a fantastic feeling. And you feel it really connected with the fans and the club and the players also. You felt it with the players also. And that was good.
Would you give us one last Ronny Roar? Last time we'll ever see it. Come on.
No, you have to wait. We're winning.
He's qualified for the Europa League knockouts as well. What was it that changed? Was it the diet and that finally kicking in? Was that the turning point?
I think it's important not to make the diet as the big thing here. That's one of 100 things you do. So the way we train is about understanding how we want to play. It's about getting the right players together, to get the staff and everybody to be on the same page. There's a lot of things that you have to do. But we started to get a good intensity in what we did. We started to do that, and we find a good match in the team. A midfield that was very strong with Neil and Stefan and Scott, and the partnership with Van Dijk and Denayer, and then Craig in the goal was a very hard, good, solid central line. And then also you had two strikers that score goal all the time. So I think we get settled and people start to feel safe in the roles and what we expected, how we want to play. The transition started to be good. We defended much better than we had done. So, and the whole team worked together. So, and we started to get fit, really fit. And that was the reason why we get better.
Were you the kind of manager that would encourage team bonding nights out, or would you rather the boys never went out during the season?
One more time?
Were you the type of manager that would encourage team bonding, like nights out, or would you prefer the boys to stay in during the season?
No, I think sometimes it's good to go out and clear your head. Again, you have 3 games in a week. You can't do it. You have 7 days to the next game. To go out to have some fun. It's okay, but again, it's about being ready the day after also. So find the balance is important.
Who was I don't know if you want to say, who was like the most challenging going to a big club? Who was the player that kind of challenged you the most early on?
They challenged me in different ways. Some was like very hard to change, and some was strong. I think Scott and Chris was strong leaders in the group there. I think those two were, in a good way, challenging. I think that we had some good talks and disagreements, and to listen to the players sometimes is important.
So are you that type of manager, Ronny, that you will ask the players their opinion as well, yeah?
Yes, we are a team. So again, that's also was tough. It's so different from Scandinavia to Scotland. In Scandinavia, we have no hierarchy. We don't care about what you are. We are up to who you are. So again, for me, when I come in, it's like if I sit with the king of Norway beside me, I talk with him like a normal guy. It's no problem. But in Scotland, the hierarchy is very strong. So it's a lot of fear in the system. And sometimes that can be good, but in Scandinavia, it's very, very different. There's no fear there. Because if the leader is a bad leader, he gets sacked. Whatever. If he does a good job with the economy or whatever. So it's just like, so that when I was very open-minded and wanted to have advices and involve people, that made people more insecure sometimes. Because when you're used to do what you're told, then you get safe. But if I ask, what do you think? Then you start suddenly to have to stand for something.
Yeah.
And that makes some people in the beginning very insecure, and very strange because they are scared to do mistakes. And they think that, I say, I don't care about mistakes. But I want you to be I want you to take responsibility for what the task you have, you know. And if you are a good staff of me, then I don't think about if it's get done or not. It's like, you know, I don't need to think about that. Like if you're a physical coach, if I ask a question, so how do you want to train the team to get them more physical good? They always answer me back, it depends what you want. And say, I'm not the physical coach. You are the physical coach. You have to tell me what you want. Well, how are you going to do it? But then very hard to get them to get an answer, because if they do mistakes, then they have said it.
And they're responsible as well. Yeah.
But I said, don't care about. I want to rather have opinions than and do mistakes than don't have no opinions, because I think again that's to working together is like to be get a culture of reflection, culture of taking the demand. So this is taking time, you know, to do. It takes years to get into these things.
Right, brilliant. That's excellent. I think you've probably shocked a few of the players then, Ronny, because they've probably never had that before in their career where they've been asked their opinion.
Right, that's in Scandinavia, it's very normal.
Brilliant. I would fucking love that, mate. I want to give my opinion all the time. Right, mate, you brought in Armstrong and Gary Mackay-Stevens.
It's one thing so important. If you have an opinion, then we'll turn it back to you again. Says, okay, we do that. What can I expect from you? So,
right.
So you don't get. You have to, if you mean something and you have opinion and you get it through, then you also have to show and you have to take responsibility for that action that we're going to do.
Yeah, so if you give your opinion, you then need to put stuff into place to back that opinion. I'd be hopeless, Ronny, honestly. Right, Armstrong and Mackay-Stevens. How much a lift did they give the place? There's some pair, they two, aren't they? With the holding hands when they signed.
Me and Gary?
Gary Mackay-Stevens and Stuart Armstrong. There's some boys, aren't there?
Yeah, they're fantastic good boys. That was two really good signings, you know. So it was good also because we did like we had the cup final against Dundee United afterwards, and then they had only 8 men to play, so we had to win that game.
Love it. What about, were you a manager for like initiations when new players signed?
I don't know, you have to do
so if Mackay-Stevens and Armstrong signs, do you make them sing, dance in front of the players?
They had to sing. Well, that's not me making them. That was more the players. Everybody had to sing when they come in.
Because I see Gary Mackay-Stevens now. He's always on the guitar on his Instagram. I don't know if you've seen it.
He is?
Yeah, he's learning the guitar.
I have an Icelandic player as well. He's a pop star in Iceland. So maybe they can play together. Should make a good song here. If they were so good to making songs here that in Celtic, then it should be a song already.
See on Mackay-Stevens and Armstrong, Ronny, had you seen them playing like them, or was it a networking place that kind of picked players?
I was both, but sometimes it's very important to hear what the players think about that as well, and they like them and they think we're hard to play against. And we checked, of course, everything around them about the mentality, and they suited our mentality that we want to build really, really good. It was one thing to learn. And they have legs, they want to run, and humble boys with skills. So they make us even better.
I'm just surprised that I was never flagged up at Dundee.
Me too.
Couple of weeks later, mate, you's Inter Milan at Celtic Park, 3-3 draw. Is that the best you've seen the stadium that night? I remember the game. The atmosphere was amazing that night, wasn't it?
Oh, unbelievable. It was the biggest atmosphere day I've been to ever in a game. It was fantastic. When we scored a 3-3 goal with Guidetti, it was unbelievable feeling. So, and also a good performance. We were so close to beat them on 2 legs there.
I think Big Virgil got sent off. Did Big Virgil get sent off?
After 35 minutes or something down in San Siro, and we kept them to 0-0 into 85 minutes or something, 80 minutes, and we had a couple of big opportunities. So we were staying 11. I think we had a really good opportunity to beat them.
See, on the side of the pitch, Ronnie, in the games, can you enjoy it, or is it just too intense?
These times you enjoy these things, but football you enjoy more afterwards. You're not sitting and thinking, "Wow, this is fantastic." When the game is on, you have to be focused. But afterwards, when you sit down in your couch and you just listen to the music or see the television, you're like starting to feel how big it was.
Yeah, because it was about that time that we played you at Dundee, and you absolutely spanked us, and you were getting rave reviews about your style of play. Did you think at that time, I'm starting to get excited about this team? We can go places.
Yes, I was. I think we had a really, really good team. I was like, not often. I had that in 2013 with Stromsgodset, and the same with Celtic in that from the last part of the first year. It was like you sit down on the bench and you know that if we're gonna lose this game, we have to do something crazy has to happen. So like I was so secure that we're gonna win games all the time, and you trusted the team so much. So and we developed all the time. So that was a really good team.
Because some of the football you played, it was all short, sharp, intricate passing. But was that just work on the training ground constantly?
We did that, but also we defended really good. I think I'm not 100% this, but I think actually that season we conceded the least goal ever in Scottish football. I think we had 18 goals in 38 games. I think that was I'm not sure of that this, but I'm reminded that was somebody telling me. But anyway, 18 goals in 38 games is nothing.
Tremendous. And then you play Rangers in the League Cup semi-final. Do you prepare a team differently for a game like that, or is it exactly the same as every game?
I mean, we were so much better than them in that time. So I was just keep going. But of course, it's a different atmosphere around the building, and you feel that something big is going to happen. So, but we were so much better than them in that time.
Seeing the fact that you were so much better than them, is there that worry that we are much better than them? If they beat us, I'm going to get leathered.
As I said, that time I trusted the team so much, so I couldn't see it coming.
And how was that to beat Rangers? So like the atmosphere after that as well. Again, another big moment for you. It
was big, very big. So I had so much family and friends there as well. So after the game, we really enjoyed that moment. So that was something I'm always going to remember.
Brilliant. And then 15th of March, first trophy as a Celtic manager, the League Cup. Is it a different sort of feeling winning a cup at a club like Celtic?
Yeah. Is it like when I won the cup with as a player with Odd having win for 60 years, and also when you win with Stromsgodset, it's you feel much bigger than when you win with Celtic, because it's like this is how it should be. But at the same time, it was a trophy, and it comes in, and then you get more confidence and more calm, and we were leading the league with 15-20 points at that time, I'm sure, as well. So like we had a really was like everybody wanted the treble then. I was like looking at the players, every training, everybody was so focused to win the treble, and I was thinking, this can happen.
See, after you win the League Cup, do you ever get a drink with the players after back at Celtic Park, or do you go out with the players ever?
I don't think we did celebrate that at all. Not me, because I was game 3 days after or something again. So I don't think so. It was just some cake, some food in Celtic Park. So
rubbish.
The cup should be this last day of the season.
And as you say, Ronnie, the treble was on until controversy occurred. Cup semi-final, clear handball, penalty. Could you actually believe that? Could you see the ball hit his hand from where you were standing?
So it's all clear. That game is, I think, when I'm looking back on my career, it's going to be the toughest game, most irritating game in my life, because we were so much better than them the first half, and there should be 2-0 there, and a man sent off, so the game is over. And we had to then get, I think, Falkirk in the final if we do that. And yes, we had to play that game, but of course, a big chance to win that. So for me, we were devastated. I was devastated. It was like, you felt it was so close to could take the trouble. And the team deserved it because they were so focused in that time. So I felt so sorry for everybody after the game.
Do you think the decision affected their performance after the decision was given? Do you think it then affected the performance in the second half?
Maybe, but we were 10 men. Straight after, there was just a long ball, and then Craig, was something happened with Craig come out, and then you get a red card and a penalty, and then the change. Even though I think it went to extra time, so we were fighting the whole time in. But that was a tough moment. I have to say that.
Was there ever an explanation given to you about the decision?
No, it was not. So, but what can you do? That's how it is. We have to keep on. But that was a tough decision.
That's heartbreaking, mate. Because if you win that game, it's a treble at Celtic, and that'd be a dream first season, wouldn't it? Did that leave a wee sour taste at the end of the season, or could you still enjoy the league and the League Cup?
I enjoyed every moment of that first year. It was we improving all the time. We would get strong. We did good in Europe. And I was like looking forward to get into that start of the next season now, because the team was like, I felt like we could really do something into Champions League and so on at that time.
When the league was wrapped up, you were over in Norway, weren't you?
Yes, I think it was in Spain for 14 days.
So did you have a big party over there?
I had a party or two, but it was a lot of relax also.
You need to relax.
I had family. So
is that the most tired you've been in a summer? Your first year in a Celtic job, are you knackered?
You asked me a lot about party, but for me, I'm a very social guy. I love being, to sit and talking with people, have a glass of wine or beer, or being together, and that's something to make me to relax and to think about other things sometimes. But it's important to do in the right moments and with the right people. That's important, for me, I don't with alcohol. I don't like. I never in my life take a beer at home alone. Yeah. Never ever happened. So, but social, opportunities. I think also when you're drinking together and talking together, you are more open and you get closer to people. So it's a lot of positive things with that, but has to be in the right time.
Yeah, it's a common thing on my interviews. I always ask about party because I love to party.
But it's important. You have to celebrate life sometimes as well.
Of course you do, mate. I'm celebrating every day, and I don't know what I'm celebrating, but I'm still celebrating. Did you expect Van Dijk to leave that summer, Ronny? Were you told that he'd be sold?
Yeah. Yes, I was not told, but everybody understand that. But I was very hard. I was thinking. I said to Virgin and his agent and everybody said, like, you're not going to a medium club in England. You go to the top 4, 5. That's how good you are. And he was like, I want to go Koeman and all these things. And in the end, we had to do that. But the history I told that so stupid. City, Liverpool, United was not taking him 1 year before, because then they had the same for 45 million if they had done that. So 1 or 2 years before. So, but that was tough to lose him, of course. And also Jason went away. Mm-hmm. So the 2 central defenders go. Detti went away. He was an important player in the dressing room, and he was a very connected guy. So that was, but that's how it is in clubs like a little bit like selling clubs, like Celtic has to be, because of the economy is so different from England.
See, with your connections to the City group, and you knew Van Dijk was going to go, did you get in touch with City and say, listen, you should take this guy now?
Yes, I said that.
What was the reaction?
I think the answer was very good, because I said, you have to take him, I said, to City. And they say, okay, tell me the best European game he has played. and I will watch it again one more time. And I couldn't tell him what game that was because he hadn't known any really, really good European games. He was really, really dominant in Scotland. But he gets sent off against Inter away. That was a big test. And I think if he had played fantastically in that game, he would be bought by the big because I think the clubs are thinking Scottish football is too low level. And they don't want to take a chance on a player for that kind of money if they don't really sure. And then they're thinking, okay, Europe, then you can show how good you are. And I think Van Dijk was good, but didn't have that one really, really good game when in Europe.
Why do you think that was, Ronny? Why do you think he never had that great game in Europe that year?
I know it's for him as well. It's it was his first really year that he played in Europe.
Yeah.
It's important to understand. He had some, I think, in the year before, he had some come on and had some games in Champions League that year. But that was the first year he was really into the Europe and were going to perform. So I think that takes a little bit of time.
Okay, I love this story. I don't know if this is true or not. Kieran Tierney. Was it a mistake? Was it a fluke? Kieran Tierney got to train with the first team. Is that true?
No. That was not a mistake, was it not? But the first training he was on was like, wow, where was he? But he played a lot of winger and he had some big problems with his calf. He couldn't play 45 minutes without getting cramp in his calf. So I had good medical staff around me, and they get him better and better. And I told the manager on the 21 or 23 team that he has to play left fullback because that's going to be his position. And then after that, he went straight up to the sky. It was like you couldn't keep him out of the team. He was unbelievable player.
Why did you think he was a left fullback, Ronny, and not a left winger?
Because he has the things that the fullbacks nowadays almost don't have. He's so hard to beat 1v1 defensively. It's like I remember Jamesy and the other players that didn't want to play against him because he kicked them down all the time, and he was so aggressive. And at the same time, he could go up and down the side. His technical ability had to improve a little bit, and his crossing, but his energy and the heart he had, the love of Celtic was like. He's like a dream young player you can get up, a little bit old-fashioned, good left back defensively, but at the same time can attack. So the only thing that stopped him to be one of the best is injuries, and that was I said now when he went to Arsenal as well. And now he's been injured a lot there. He has to get control of his body. If he do that, he will be top Premier League player, I'm sure.
See, when you say that, you had to improve technically. So what would you do, Ronny? Would you take him out in the afternoon and work on that? Or was it up to him to do that himself?
But we had assistants doing that. John, of course, work with him. Showing pictures, so he tactically get better and technically. So it's about, again, the process through every game that he need to learn. And he practice crossing. So he gets better and better all the time.
Brilliant, what a player. Right, just on the next part, we're going to talk about the last hurdle, the Champions League qualification against Malmo. Did that result kind of kill the momentum you had in the previous season?
Yes, that was the biggest hit I had, of course, this cup semi-final, but we played so well at Celtic Park. The first half was like you didn't almost believe what you see. It was so dominant and we were so strong, and we ended up only winning 3-2. We should have won more. So we put ourselves in a bad situation before the away game. But again, the first half we were rocking in the first half. But it was so sad that we couldn't keep up and keep the concentration.
Why do you think that was? Why were you so good the first half of that game and then
I don't know. I don't know, but the whole preseason, we just continue where we were. We lose one game, I think, in the preseason. We played a tough game in Karabakh, and we went through 0-0 and 1-0 at home. It's tough, too good, and then we went to Malmö and we just attacked them the first. We could be 3-0 up at the beginning there. And then when Joenke Berger scored 2-1 straight before halftime, it like maybe we started to think a little bit too much. Then when we get 3-1 with Lee Griffith, and we couldn't keep it up there in the end. That was disappointing.
See, at that time, Ronny, could you feel like fan pressure mounting?
But at that time, we were flying, so I was so sure. It's like this is going to be good. But away, we choked. We were not even close to be at the level we should be, and that I have to take a lot of responsibility for. It's the team selection, maybe the way we handle the pressure into the game. Now Celtic has never been fantastic away, but at the same time, the performance was not good enough to get through that away. So that was the turning point in my Celtic career, for sure. And we lose Van Dijk, and there was so many things happening then around this time. And our signings were not good enough. We will get too many players in the squad, and I lose a little bit control of the group because there was not a clear leading group like it was the year before, and that ruined the culture in the team.
See, when you're under a bit of pressure on it, is the worst thing that could happen the incident with Chris Commons? Is that the worst thing that could happen for a manager? In the public, everyone can see it.
Yeah, you could say yes, but I didn't think about the public at that time. I was just furious because of the team. So, because it's about respect, but again, it's emotional players and people want to win, and it's tough personalities. Chris has personality, so but we deal with it, and that's the most important thing. You deal with it and go on, and you hopefully learn something from it, and we did that. So, but there was just a drop that's get too much, because for everybody it was like we didn't perform when we lose against Molde. At home was the worst. We lose there. Away is like a tough arena to come on, but at home was like we were not good enough in that period. We were playing. We didn't deserve anything more than we get.
See, when you were saying the recruitment wasn't good enough, were you saying to people like these players aren't good enough for Celtic?
When you have signed players and you have a squad, you have to build them up. So of course, when we were on the office together, we were talking about all these things. Of course, that's how everything is. But you have to also look yourself in the mirror. So it's about, are you doing a good enough job? And I'm sure it's and I was also I was into the decisions to all the signings and things like that. So that's a very important thing in coaching, and it's a tough thing because you have to try to find players that is more value than they actually cost. Because the money we spend the 2 years I was there is not even close to what they're doing now. Of course, they're earning more money now, but it was a culture shift when I took over, because then it was like we have to build young players, we have to sell players, and then stay to be the best team in Scotland and try to do something in Europe. So, but I knew that, so that's something that I had no problem with. But we did some mistakes there, and I had too many players. And when you have too many players, when you put 5 players out of the squad, you know yourself then that you have problems in the dressing room.
Ronny, I'm always one of the 5 players that's left out of the squad, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
See, when you say that, Ronnie, though, the first person you look at is yourself. See, looking back now, is there things that you would have done differently then? What would they have been?
I would be much stronger in the signings. That's number one, I think. To like we did with very good signings with Gary, and what's his name again?
Stuart Armstrong.
Stuart. Yeah. So that's good signings. Don't but and have young players. With potential. Was we were more we took more chances. And we didn't find the right ones to, and also see what kind of people you need to build a culture.
Because see, from the outside, just looking at like Carlton Cole and Kazim Richards, it didn't really seem like your type of players the way you played football. That's what kind of baffled me a bit.
Yeah, but both of them has on the best unbelievable ability, but I didn't get the best. Cole was a fantastic guy, and if he had been at his peak, it would be fantastic for Celtic. But he was not. He couldn't run the same way like he did before, and I was hoping we could get him back at level, but we never did it. And then with a big character like that, he has pride, of course, and it's just making bad energy around the club, and Kasim as well was a lot of ability, but didn't have that culture that we wanted to have, and that what we had last year. So that was very. It's not about nothing wrong with the players. It's the wrong time.
Yeah.
First of all, with Cole.
See, for like when you're talking about the highs of being the Celtic manager, how good it is. See, when it is tough, how hard is it? How hard is it to even enjoy life and socialising outside the football? Does it just take over completely your thoughts?
Yeah, totally. It's like it's a lifestyle. It's not a job. So you live with it all the time, and when it's going bad, your head is exploding about finding solutions, and you have to take care of yourself so you get your energy right and focus on the right things. So it's like it's a lot of suffering all the time. But when you get the good moments, it's worth it sometimes.
Brilliant. A guy who's had a lot of good moments in Celtic, Lee Griffiths, big player for you, scored 40 goals. How good a player is he?
He's a fantastic player, fantastic finisher. But with him as well, he could be scoring 40 goals every year, but he's not consistent enough, and there's too much injuries, and he had to take care of himself better than they have done. But when he's on his top, he's just not a good player, but he's a profile. You love to have around, and fans love him and fights. He's a top striker when he is fit. Take care of himself.
Is he funny? Is he a funny guy, Ronnie?
Yeah, he is. He's very funny. It was funny to have him on the weight every day.
But do you see that in Scottish players then? Obviously, the injuries that you've mentioned, it's the Scottish guys. Is it because of the way we live our lives? Is it our culture?
I love the Scottish players because they are like I grew up with, like we were.
Yeah.
Because they're tough. I so respect for, they're never moaning about bad weather or bad pitches or a lot of games or load or we come 5 minutes too late to the stadium or they just go out and did the job. And that's not normal around, you can tell. So that kind of culture is, something I really admire by the Scottish players. And then, of course, they have something to learn from some other cultures as well. That's how it is. But this desire and this hunger to fight is. I remember playing Dundee United one time there. I didn't see one green grass on the pitch, and there was 3 red cards, and it was like all over the pitch. That wouldn't happen in Norway or Sweden or whatever, because that meant something. I was like, the heart of the whole Celtic is special.
Yeah. Another big moment as well, Ronnie, was Tom Roderick's last minute winner at Rugby Park. take control of the title race again. How good a feeling is that? Is nothing compared to that last minute winner, especially the goal he scored there.
But again, that was because of then we had won it because. When I saw I didn't improve the team anymore, I was feeling like we've played so shit against the Rangers. We were like, and I didn't get the best out of the players. And I saw that my energy, the pressure on my position was so hard that it affected the team. So we decided together, Peter and me, that enough is enough. And I said, if I go out and say it now, I'm sure that we will get some other energy into the team and we will finish in a good way, because the worst thing can happen for me is to lose the league title, because I could never live with that. That would be the worst thing. So I remember I did it after this Rangers game, and then we played Hearts at home. The 0-0 was not good, but that was only 3-4 days after, so I knew it will take a little bit of time to recover the energy. And then after that we were just flying again. We were winning games, and 4-0 at home against Aberdeen, 8-0 in the last game. It was 7 or 8-0. So that made me very happy, and like that was the right moment then to go separate ways. And I knew that Celtic had a team, some really good young players, and also some leaders there that could build on them. And they get Brendan Rodgers was, I know, one of the best managers in the world. So that was great for Celtic.
I know it's going to be tough, but just on the Rangers game, see, when you mentioned the first time you knew you were a lot better than Rangers at that time, could you see that Rangers had improved since then?
Yes, they had more confidence and they played a little bit without pressure because they were like underdogs. But we played so bad. We should run them off the park. Yeah, so that was a big hit. That was the finish for me. I was like thinking, and after I was almost not angry afterward because I was like so disappointed in everything. And then I felt like now the need changes, to something has to happen to go in to win the title and move on.
So when you look back, what do you think did go wrong? Why do you think? Was it the wrong team selection? Was it the wrong tactic? What do you think went wrong that day?
So there was a lot of things. So just too much load on the players.
Yeah.
And on security, and maybe also was lack of energy. That after everything that's happened. So and the pressure on me was very hard. So it was not about the tactics or anything. I think it was just the amount of load and the uncertainty, unsecure players, and maybe unsecure staff and everything as well.
So could you feel that kind of before the game, Ronny?
I don't remember if I felt it before. I don't think so.
Okay, so last few games at Celtic, as you say, wrapped up the league, Tynecastle, Trophy Day, 7-0 win v Motherwell. Tremendous day again. So again, for the low, you then get another high. It's kind of the poison chalice of the Celtic job, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. But again, fantastic time and fantastic finish was like that. And we with so much talent in the team, and I think they've proven after I went also what kind of team that is unbelievable. And so impressed about what they've done afterwards, and the whole club is not only the players, it's the whole culture in the club, and I can feel that, and it helped me a lot, the togetherness. So that was special.
You must be proud as well, Ronny. As you said, the likes of Tierney, Armstrong, Van Dijk, the way McGregor's playing now, the way you've brought the players through, you must look back and have an immense amount of pride in that.
Yes, I follow Celtic all the time. It's one of the teams not always you do that when you're the coach team, but I really are a Celtic supporter still, and I follow the team a lot. And now I'm in New York. I know there's a lot of Celtic supporters here as well, and I know there's a lot of Irish pubs here that are going to visit after a while also. So that's going to be good, so I can see the games and enjoy a little bit of the atmosphere again.
Have you bumped into any Celtic fans over there?
I was in we played Toronto away, and we lose 1-0, and then there was 5 Celtic fans there. Was very happy after the game. I was not so happy, but I took pictures of them. So that was nice, very nice.
And one thing I always wondered as well, do you still keep in contact with any of the players, like your Van Dijk or that? Do you have a text or phone?
I don't have so much contact with the players. I'm more with John and John. some contact as and Peter. But if I meet them again, it's like should be like yesterday. So that's the most important thing. It's so busy life, all of us.
Yeah, and you're in the history books as a league winner. But how much would it mean to you for Celtic to go on and get 10 in a row and you be a big part in it?
That'll be amazing. So next year gonna be important. I think Neil and the team and everyone has done fantastic, and it's been building up a new big team again, and he I'm sure he's gonna drag the club into 10, and then hopefully I can be there and celebrate with them.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you. All the best.
Man,